Hi, I'm Bonnie McCaffery, and thanks so much for coming back this month for another VidCast. You know, I came to Quilt Market and I went to one of the lectures, and it was this group of these three ladies, there's actually four ladies, that have written this wonderful book on fabric embellishing. And it's a really neat book because one of the things I really like about the book is that it is spiral bound, so you can open it up to lay it flat. And there's so many neat techniques in this. So who are the people that wrote this book? You are.
I'm Liz Kettle.
I'm Ruth Chandler.
I'm Heather Thomas.
And there's the fourth, and the fourth is?
Lauren Velchuk.
All right, and Lauren's not here, but you know, we put her in the back so that she could be a part of this too. So it's really neat. So let's take a look through some of these books. I really like this idea because you've made fabric books that show all of the different techniques. It's just a nice way to be able to experiment.
Right. It's a great way to either do it as a block of the month sort of thing or have a person work through the book on her own, in her own studio, a little bit at a time, and putting as many as one, as few as one or as many as 5 different techniques on each page. Yeah.
So the first section of the book, what is the first section of the book like or about?
Well, the first section are the foundations, different ways to build upon that's not boring or something new, a little bit of texture maybe, but it's very, very soft, and it's what we want to put everything else on.
Right, okay. And one of the techniques I saw for the foundations was, I think it's this one.
We call it bubbling. We wet our fabric, and you take any kind of small grid. This one is the smallest. This is larger. The small is from an office grid drawer. The bigger one is actually for cooling your rack for your cookies. You wet your fabric. You start with a large piece, and it will shrink quite a bit. Start in the middle. I take a chopstick, the big end of the chopstick, because you want as close a size as you can get for the grid. Start in the middle and work your way, poke it in, let it dry. And then to hold it, you use fusible interfacing on the back.
Oh, so you punch it in, you let it dry, and then you iron fusible interfacing
Yes,
on
and
the
that
back
will
of it.
hold your bubbles. Turn it over, and you've got a great, great texture to work with.
That's so cool. I love that idea.
And this one is wrinkling. And
I love
everybody
it.
knows how to
Just
wad
kinda
up your fabric, throw it in
twist
a old nylon to dry, you know.
Yeah,
In
and-
Colorado, we let it hang dry. You can't do that
Gosh.
in Houston especially.
Well, that's great for fabric drying, but I bet your skin gets dry.
Yes, it does.
Wow, these are just wonderful. What are these?
Those are wool beads.
Wool beads. And those are something you buy? Mm-hmm. Who wants to tell me about the ricing?
Ricing, I first of all started out with a sashiko stitch, which is a very straight, right in line stitch, and it's very, very controlled and frustrating. So you take a ricing stitch, which is just a running stitch. You stay on top of the fabric, and the hardest thing to do is make it random.
Right, okay, so none of them are really lined up.
No, you can line it up if you want, and we did give examples of that,
Right.
but it just gives a wonderful texture to the background of fabric.
This is an image transfer using transfer artist paper
Right.
by Leslie Riley, and the ribbon is printed on the inkjet printer. It
All
is
right, so
cool. Once you start doing this,
Could you give me a
yes.
tip on how you do that?
Yep. First thing you do is go into your word processing program.
Yeah.
And you print it, you type in whatever words, whatever font, and then you print it off on plain paper.
Yeah.
Then right over the words on the paper, you put double stick tape. And then you just put your ribbon right on top of the double stick tape, run it through the printer again with the same document,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it prints on ribbon. You can do twill tape, and silk ribbon is fabulous. Rayon ribbons.
Yeah,
it
that's
is
probably a
so
good
much
idea.
fun. You
Yeah.
can. I put this quote on here.
What a great idea. I can't
Yeah,
believe
it's
that.
really fun. It's really
It's
fun.
like such a simple thought, like,
Yeah.
oh, why didn't I think of
Yeah.
that? But who did think of that?
Lauren taught me.
Lauren
Well, I
taught
think
us.
it's from the scrapbooking industry.
It is.
It really is. Scrap Reliefs have been doing it for a long time. We just
Okay.
borrowed it.
Yeah. Speaking of scrapbooking industry now, I know that in one of these beautiful books there is some embellishment things from the scrapbooking industry.
Well, we've done a lot of things with brads and beads and found objects that the scrapbookers do, and it's just a wonderful way to raise the surface of quilts.
There's
Full of
this
it.
one.
So these are lots of found objects here,
Right.
lots of sequins, charms, wonderful charms, buttons used
Yeah.
unbutton-like way. And here we have brads. So these little tiny decorative brads are here. And those are really easy. You just kind of pop a hole through the surface of the top of the quilt and the batting if there's batting. And it's nice to do it before you put the backing on. Puts the brad through, open the brad up, and then if you put the backing on afterwards, it hides those brads.
Yeah. I think these little beads are so neat, but they're not sewn on. I mean, they are not quite microscopic, but they're really tiny. I would call them micro beads.
Well, you can get them in 2 different sizes.
Okay,
and
good.
there are some larger ones, but I don't think we have them in the book.
Uh-huh.
I like to mix them. It gives you a really wonderful look if you mix the 2 sizes.
And colors.
Yes. Yes. We attach them with a fabric glue that's permanent.
Okay.
And make sure that it dries clear. That's really important.
Dries clear,
Yes,
permanent
I would
glue.
think that would be important. Yeah.
And right here, I just quilted this in circles, this quilted circle, and then followed the glue around on the quilted lines, and that's how you get that design.
Okay, so that's an important point, is that you would want to quilt it first.
Exactly. Yes.
And then add the hard beads. That's a
Right.
good tip.
You don't want these down in your bobbin.
Oh, yes, I can
No,
see it.
in your bobbin case would be a
would be
bad
At the
thing.
repairman. I don't know how it got there. Somebody else must have used my machine.
No, burning. Have you ever
Burning.
done burning on the edges of anything?
I've seen burning, and it looks
Heather
really
loves
cool.
to
I love to deconstruct.
You're a little pyromaniac.
Yep.
Well, I don't know about pyro, but definitely deconstructing. Definitely building things up and then taking them apart again. It's really,
Right.
really fun.
So this looks a little burned out.
That's burned out too, and that's using nylon fabrics or synthetic fabrics in layers and pinning them together, and then using a creative textile tool or a soldering iron to just put these wonderful lines and marks in them, and then it reveals the layers underneath.
Now, you said you pinned your layers together first. There's nothing to hold it together after you're done?
That's what the burn lines are doing. It actually
They melt
melts
and fuse.
through the layers and fuses it.
These are pretty neat beads. Now, who did these?
I did
Heather
those,
did.
yeah. I love doing fabric beads. The best thing about fabric beads is that you can do them in 2 seconds. And then what you do, then you just adorn them. You just keep dressing them up and dressing them up. So we've got beads on beads, miniature glass beads on beads, glitter on beads, metal on beads, fibers on beads.
This is Lutrador.
That's a melted bead.
Luchador. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you can just pretty much do anything, and all you need is a couple dowels in different sizes and some glue stick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're having too
scraps.
much fun.
they're a lot of fun.
Great way to use your scraps.
None of us have scraps, right? What is this metal stuff?
This metal is so much fun. I'm a little addicted to it. It's from 10 Second Studios, and it's metal shim. It's very thin metal, and it's so easy to emboss, and you can stitch through it, no problems.
Oh my God.
Regular needle, regular threads.
Right.
A little bit longer stitch.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. So this is just embossed from the other side.
Right.
I printed the word in reverse on my printer.
Oh, good thinking.
Taped it to the back, and then just drew
Press
right
down?
on it.
With like a burnishing tool?
Just a little plastic burnishing tool.
Yeah.
And then this is one of their texture wheels.
Oh my gosh, really? I thought you
And-
put every mark in there.
Oh, well, no. No, this is really slick. Just roll the little wheel. It's
Why,
really
it's
fast.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Do you have to fill this to hold it?
I
Stay
usually
out?
fill it with some spackle paste.
Oh, okay. I think you've got every embellishment technique there is, and if not, you'll be writing a second book.
Right.
Yeah,
There
we've
are
already got the
52 in the
list
book.
for the second book.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
we're-
cool.
Gotta have more
so
in there.
cool. Yeah, there's that metal plate again. I think
And
that's just
this
wonderful.
is transfer artist paper with an image transferred onto the metal. It gives you this beautiful vintage tin type look.
So, Ruth, this is your piece, and
Yes.
it demonstrates at least one of the techniques in the book. Tell me about it.
This is a silk background with linen thread, and it's like a pearl cotton thread, and I did the ricing only after I stitched all the circles on.
Okay, good
This is all
thinking.
done by machine, and it's an envelope style. You stitch it around, turn it,
Right.
so that the back is finished. You don't have to put any bindings. I didn't want the
Right.
binding look to it. It just didn't fit this piece. And this is stitched all the way through.
Okay, the ricing goes right through
Yes,
to the back.
this one does.
Does this have any
Yeah.
batting in it?
Yes, it has a very, very thin cotton batting.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, so here is one that has a lot of neat techniques on. Now, this is Lauren's, you
This
said.
is Lauren's quilt, and all the fabrics are rusted first, and we've got all the information in the book on how to rust fabric.
Oh, my gosh.
And then she has heavily embellished it with beading. These are actually little pieces that are on top. She quilted the background first and then added these with brads. In between here, it's layers of a very sheer, sparkly fabric, some fabric with writing on it, and more found objects.
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. So much texture, and that rusting technique really
it's
is
really
neat.
fun. It's so fun.
It is, and if you want to see more about the rusting, I know one of the vidcasts is with Lois Jarvis, who showed us how to do the rusting. Who wants to tell me about this
Well,
one?
I'll start, but I'll let Heather finish because this doll has every product that Heather sells in her store.
Every embellishment.
Embellishment product.
And where is your store, Heather?
In Inglewood, Colorado. And Lauren developed this as a class in the store to teach our customers how to use embellishments. So she designed the doll and designed all the embellishments to go with those embellishments.
I'll bet your store is so much fun because you have lots of good stuff.
We do have lots of really fun things.
It's a dangerous place.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
It's dangerous in a good way. Dangerous
Bring your
in a good
charge
way.
card. Yeah,
Yeah.
bring your charge card. That looks like a fun class.
It's a very fun class. Her name is Jillian Papillon.
Thank you, girls. This was
Thank you.
great.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
having us,
having us.
Bonnie.
And thank you all for coming. I hope you'll come back next month to see what I have for you then. Thanks for being with me.